Welcome, wonderful people of the Steemit world. I am Elemental, and today I'm creating this video to answer the TribeSteemUp bi-weekly question. And that question is, what would I do for society if I had all the resources I needed? Well, I gotta say that first off, I don't know if I would do anything for this society that exists currently. In fact, I would create a completely different society outside of the society that currently exists here in America where I live. And, I mean, it would still be in America. Maybe not. Maybe it would be in a different country, but let's just say for the purposes of this video that it's going to be in America. So I'd create an eco-conscious community on land that I will have acquired, a decent amount of it too, and I would like flatland woods specifically to be the housing areas that are broken in their backyards to a degree, so you can get sunlight for permaculture gardens in each person's dwelling. We can make the houses out. I mean, maybe there'll be some buildings that are standard type of buildings. I mean, we're probably going to have some shops and studios and stuff like that, but I'll get more into that in a second. But as far as the dwellings themselves, maybe there'll be one main house that has like sort of like old school type of architecture and old school building methods, but then all the rest of the dwellings maybe even more old school than that. Maybe we go like some mud style type buildings. I've seen some pretty cool buildings built out of not standard building equipment down at this place called the Frog Farm, which is a permaculture farm down in southern Oregon, near Cave Junction, sorry. But yeah, honestly, like, it would probably be kind of a Steemit community. I mean, I would invite a lot of the people that I've met in the Steemit world to be a part of this if resources were no issue, of course. I mean, with resources not being an issue, that implies that I don't have to worry about money to buy land with, to pay land taxes, even though that's not, I'm not necessarily in agreement of that. But if you own land and want to keep it, you have to pay the land taxes, the property taxes. And just manpower in general, and a lot of that would come from the community themselves building their own dwellings and stuff like that. But for the community buildings and stuff, that would be another thing we'd have to outsource and another resource that we would need. So yeah, they would be built, and I feel like each, like I was saying, each dwelling can have their own little permaculture gardens where they grow their own types of foods. Personally, I want mine to be like sort of a bunch of rare stuff or uncommon things that you don't usually see, uncommon fruits, uncommon vegetables. And then we can have some bigger community gardens in a central area that has way more open sunlight that we can all pitch in on, and each week or month, say, we could put up a sheet in the community building, and everyone in the community has to sign up for, say, let's just, for this example, let's say it'll be 2 tasks per week. Okay, and you have to sign up for what time those have to be done, and you have to go there and do them. And if you can't make them, you have to inform somebody so they can go do it, because without these things getting done, the community will not flourish. And we're talking like minimal amount of work here. We're talking a few hours a week at most. So we'd end up having a pretty liberated life out there. I mean, we'd have all our own food. We'd have a great water source through like springs and streams. I would choose the right area for that. I'd want there to be some sort of actual like river type or a large creek, or maybe even a lake. I'd kind of prefer a creek, honestly, for our many different various needs for water, but then also springs to tap for drinking water. And we could have cannabis grows as well as our individual grows, but a larger community cannabis grow as well that we could divvy out at the end of the year. And what I was thinking is, we could have sort of like a collaborative farmers market each month where everyone in the community takes their harvested plants from their individual grows, and then we have some stuff that would come from the bigger community grows, and do our own sort of property farmers market. And we can invite people from outside of the property. Of course, everyone within the community will trade their crops with each other, but then we'll also have people come from outside the community to visit our farmers market and buy and trade with us as well, so we could get even more of what we need. I don't see money being too big of an issue in these situations, because all the people that would be a part of our community would be crafty and thrifty enough to produce awesome awesome eco-friendly things that people will want to purchase. So on that note, I would also want certain other community buildings for very specific things. One thing in particular is a herbal dyeing gazebo out in the middle of everything, where we could have big, huge metal pots to do plant dyeing with for organic fabric. And another thing I want to have is a big art studio warehouse type of deal. Sort of like, you know, have different rooms in it for different things. We can have you know, literal painting studio area, sculpting studio area. We can even have lapidary studio area, and that's one thing in particular I want there personally. I would love to be able to do some stone cutting, polishing, and faceting, and then also maybe even some metal smithing as well to incorporate into jewelry with stones. And these could also, we could also use stones that we find on the property to go into the lapidary studio. And then quite separately, away from the lapidary studio, since that equipment can be kind of loud, I want to have a really nice music studio. Maybe even two, because I would assume that people in my community would be really into conscious music. And I want to get some conscious hip-hop going there. If we had enough land, even throw a festival once a year, or once every other year. And, you know, just throw down crucial-ass shows. Conscious hip-hop, other genres as well in the conscious realm, hippie jam bands, all that. You know, the possibilities are literally limitless when it comes to creating an eco-conscious community that where you don't have to worry about resources to create it. This is my dream. Kenny kind of had a similar type of idea in his head, and he suggested it as well. However, you know, these type of things, we don't live in a world where resources are not an issue. So in order for this to happen in actual reality, we need sponsorship for this. We need someone that has a lot of money to come forward and be like, you guys are doing the right thing. You guys have great intentions, and I want to see this actualized, and hand us land and hand us money to develop that land in a way that is going to be beneficial for humanity, the earth itself, and the causes of liberty. You know, I'm in a group of hardcore activists, it seems, and we have all different sorts of talents and contribute all in our own ways. Bringing all of those different vast varieties and styles of conscious evolution from so many different people together in one place permanently is going to create a very fast spark that turns into a very fast flame that turns into a very fast raging fire of awesomeness. It's not going to be the literal fire that burns down the forest or anything, okay? But yeah, that's what I would do if resources were not an issue. I would just create an awesome eco-conscious community with really cool people that want to see the earth be restored to perfection, or at least, you know, have clean air and water again everywhere, and reforesting places, and, you know, getting rid of the automobile and finding a better means of transportation that doesn't hurt the ecosystem so much. You know, figuring out ways around, you know, the meat industry and how much cows are polluting the planet from the mass production of them. You know, and really come to the forefront and focus on these conscious topics full force, full time, because we no longer have to worry about where am I going to be next month, where am I going to be next year, where am I going to live, how am I going to pay rent. You know, these things all distract us from our true purpose. We need to come together and have be grounded in a way that gives us homes permanently, so we can no longer worry about these things and have to work for other people and other projects that we may or may not even agree with, just so we can do what we need to do to survive and have a roof over our head and clothes on our back and food to eat. If we had all those things supplied, and we were growing our own food and had our own water and had our own homes with roofs over our heads, we could, like I was saying, we could fully concentrate on what really needs to be done in this world. That's what we need to do. That's what's needed. That's what the earth needs. And you know what I discovered recently? We can get anything we want from the earth. All you have to do is ask for it. If you ask the ground, put your hand on the ground and ask the earth for something that is going to help the earth. If your intentions are to help the earth, and you ask the earth for assistance with that in any way, the earth is going to grant you that. This is something I've discovered recently. So if you've watched the video this far, that is the secret of the universe that I've figured out. Put your hand on the ground, close your eyes, and connect with the earth. And literally ask it for its help so you can help her. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Elementals bi-weekly question answer for TribeSteemUp. Thank you very much, and I really hope you've enjoyed what I had to say here. And if you guys know any way that we could get sponsorship for something like this, please reach out to me and let me know. We will drop everything we're doing and make this happen, I promise. Peace, love, and consciousness.